We're trying it again. It's having some problems. You know what? The machine has been upgraded to Windows 11, but I'm here anyways. Welcome to the Castoff. This is the #1 recasting show on all of the internet, where two contestants compete by recasting your favorite actors in movies you love. I'm your host, Craig Price. It's Halloween week, so we all decided we're going to dress up and be Winter Wonderland folks, as I bring in our guests, Elisabeth Rappe and Jake Dietz. I think we're still live. So welcome. How are you guys?
Great. Happy to be here.
This is where I lost you guys last time. So let's start with Elisabeth. Elisabeth, you're in Colorado, so it's cold there, I'm assuming.
Yes, pouring rain, which is really unusual for us. Usually just go straight to snow.
You usually have fall and spring in 3-day increments. So what's been going on with you? What are you doing for Halloween this year?
Nothing, sadly.
Are you giving candy away?
Candy, but they're predicting snow or rain, so probably not. Colorado kids aren't very hardy about going out in the cold.
I grew up in the Northeast in New Hampshire. We went out with Stay Puft Marshmallow Man jackets and snow and cold in October.
Yeah, that's what we usually did. But now I think there's so many people who've moved here from like Texas and California. I don't know.
Wimps.
And the whole mall trick-or-treating thing, and yeah, they just kind of died out here. My neighborhood loves Halloween, so we'll just have to see if the weather drives them inside.
Mommy, I got some Snickers, I got peanut butter cups, and Frostbite. Yay! Jake, how are you doing? You've got like 48 kids. What are you guys doing for Halloween?
Yeah, well, we're going out and trick-or-treating this year, which is exciting because we didn't last year. Of course, weather permitting here, we're definitely cold and rainy as well, so we'll see what Saturday and Sunday look like if we go out. But yeah, that's our plans. Dress up, go raise hell in the neighborhood. It'll be fun.
Ooh, listen to him get saucy. Jake is usually the nicest guy on the internet. And now he's saying hell, and he's got his little Rastafarian jacket, and we're waiting for that. That's actually not a flamingo behind him. That's really a neon bong.
Yeah, no, it's a flamingo. But you guys said to put on a winter hat. This was the only one that was like near me, so it's definitely colorful. My wife made this, so
it looks great.
I figured if I could say I'm dressed as John Candy from Cool Runnings. See, I've got the whole island look going on here, and of course a similar build, so we're fine. This will work.
Well, let's get to the rules because we're already behind thanks to some technical glitches. But the rules are simple. I'm going to name a character, and you're going to name an actor that is going to replace the original actor. Person with the best choice gets 1 point. That is determined by 3 judges. Usually Elisabeth is one of them, but not this time. So now the pressure is on you. Now, how do you like it? If you get the Craig's Secret Selection, that is an additional point. So sometimes the best choice is not Craig's Secret Selection, and that is usually because our judges are wrong. But mine is usually the best choice. It's a good way to get back if you start losing, but person with the most points wins because it's America. And if there's a tie, we have a double feature to win. But as always, this show is brought to you by Matinee Heroes, and we are wrapping up Matinee Villains Month this Saturday with Scream with our good friend Brendan Agnew. Head over to matineeheroes.com/subscribe to follow the podcast, and you can also hear tonight's post-show exclusively on the audio version of Castoff every Thursday in the Matinee Heroes feed. And while you're over there, if you enjoy the Castoff, you can go to the site and go to matineeheroes.com/castoff, where you can find links to our YouTube. Folks, I can only beg and plead so much. We need you to subscribe to YouTube. Even if you don't watch, just go subscribe. Make up stuff. Make up emails. We need 100 people because we need to get that custom URL to make it a lot easier. But let's start off. We are doing Addams Family Values, and we're going back to the 90s where family values was more than a slogan. It was a political weapon used against anyone not considered normal, which is why we have Addams Family Values. And we're going to start off with, Elisabeth's going to go first, but we're going to start with someone who was probably born to play this part, and that is Angelica Houston as Morticia Addams. So, Elisabeth, who do you have who could possibly live up to Angelica Houston's perfect Morticia? I think she's even better than the lady who did the show.
Yeah, I mean, she's perfect. It's impossible to recast her. She looks like the cartoon.
She does.
I went with I didn't go for the internet obvious choice. I went with Katrina. I think I'm saying her last name right. Balfe from Outlander, and I mainly went there because she has incredible eyes and is also Irish like Angelica Houston.
Well, it wouldn't be Elisabeth Rappe on Castoff if there wasn't someone from Outlander on it. So, is that how you say her name? Katrina?
Yeah, Katrina, but I don't know if I'm saying her last name.
Oh, I don't know. Balfe. It's Irish, so it could be anything. But she was in Ford versus Ferrari, Now You See Me, Super 8, and she's going to be in the new Kenneth Branagh's Belfast. So, being Irish, that makes perfect sense. I think she'd be really good. I tried to find people with dark hair in this, but it was very difficult because our next person, Jake, is not a dark-haired lady.
No, she's not. But, you know, Hollywood's doing some amazing things with hair and makeup these days, Craig. And I think they could give her some dark hair. I think they could pull it off.
It wasn't that they can't give it to her. It's that I couldn't find a picture with her. That's all. Jeez.
I know. No, I wanted someone that I thought could look the part. It's really comes down to that kind of, and you showed it in that picture of Angelica Houston, that kind of devilish grin. And I thought that this actress could definitely pull that off. I went with Nicole Kidman.
Ah, yes. Nicole Kidman, an awesome Aussie from Moulin Rouge, Days of Thunder, and Elisabeth was on the podcast that's going to become Thanksgiving, Paddington. She was the baddie in Paddington, but she can also be in more recent things like Aquaman and Bombshell. Absolutely. If she can withstand Tom Cruise, she can easily deal with...
this is no problem.
Yeah, this is easy.
Being married to Gomez is a walk in the park at that point.
Simple. So Katrina Balfe, Nicole Kidman, I don't know how to say the last name either. And I apologize to Katrina. I know she's watching, so I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
And our judges conferred, and I didn't think this was going to happen because I had to look her up. But yes, the Outlander wins. So Elisabeth gets a 1 point.
I thought you were apologizing because she lost.
No. Yes, I'm apologizing because I screwed up her last name. I went with Morena Baccarin, who I think you really give her the dress, the long hair, the real jet black. I think she could do it as well. So we move on to the late, great Raul Julia as Gomez Addams. Jake, Raul was fantastic in this. Who do you have?
Oh, yeah, he's amazing.
Who do you have? It's impossible to recast him as well. Everybody else, I think, can. But these two really were A+.
Yeah, I went with someone that I felt like you've got to be a little bit weird, a little bit strange to play Gomez Addams and really pull it off. I think this actor does that. Plus, you've got to be able to have that pencil-thin mustache and look really good. So I went with Johnny Depp. He pulls that look off really well.
I went with a younger-looking Johnny Depp without the pencil-thin mustache because
that's fine.
But yeah, he's known for wackadoodle characters, so I think he fits right in there. From the Pirates of the Caribbean movie, he was Nightmare on Elm Street. He was the guy who got killed in that. But he can act. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? He used to be able to act. Now he just kind of does himself. It's really weird. Oh, there we go. Back up. Let me back it up. See, I'm already having a tough day. Elisabeth, who do you have? As we saw, so the surprise is kind of gone.
I went with because I like that it was a big deal for Raul Julia to get that part. I mean, because he was an ethnically appropriate for the part and not like a huge Hollywood star. And he's impossible to replace. He was pure sex. So I also went pure sex and Spanish, and I went with Edgar Ramirez, who really has kind of gotten stuck playing the parts that Gerard Butler turns down. But he is amazing in Carlos. And if you see Carlos where he fluctuates in all kinds of weights and puts all kinds of facial hair on, I think he would be a great Gomez.
Well, he seems like a beefy kind of Gomez, so he might be more of a John Astin type than a Raul Julia.
Or like the cartoons, 3 feet high and 3 feet wide.
Oh,
so.
Well, yes, in the cartoons, he's the figure 8, a very small, squat 8. Yes, you're right. So we have Johnny Depp, Edgar Ramirez, judges conferred, Edgar Ramirez. So Elisabeth is 2 for 2.
I really want to see him as Gomez in my Bizarro world.
Okay, I went with Diego Luna because I think he can get that pencil-thin mustache too. But I wanted somebody who wasn't. I'll be honest. I thought Edgar was a little beefy, and I thought Johnny Depp was a little crazy. So I wanted to kind of get a skinnier, thinner, more gentlemanly version. Well, now we get to the great Christopher Lloyd as love-struck Uncle Fester in this one. He is love-struck, and he is... I tried to find a picture with him in the wig, but it just looks so weird. He wears a fake hair and tries to wear a suit most of this particular movie. So, Elisabeth, who do you have playing Uncle Fester?
I ended up, this feels so obvious, and I can't remember who my first pick was, but he never gets to do any comedy really other than, I guess one movie, but I went with Dave Bautista, who I think would actually have a lot of fun with it, and obviously looks a lot like Uncle Fester.
Yeah. We've got Dave Bautista here. Yep. He's a muscle-bound softie, but he does know comedy because he's been in Guardians of the Galaxy. Army of the Dead was laughable. But
that wasn't his fault.
No, that's right. He was...
Different kind of comedy.
Yeah. Daniel Craig punched him in the face in Spectre. Literally, accidentally punched him in the face, and then Daniel Craig ran away because he thought Dave Bautista would crush him because he's a monster of a man. So that leaves us with Jake. Jake, who do you have playing? Now this particular Uncle Fester is a muscle bound. Who do you have?
I did not go muscle bound for my pick, but I will say after seeing Dune, where all of the House Huracan people looked like Uncle Fester, I think that Dave Bautista is a good pick. Yeah. I went with someone a little bit who can do serious, who can do goofy. I went with Paul Giamatti, who I think can just really look like Uncle Fester.
Yes. I love him.
I mean, that smile is, especially look at that smile. I mean, that's an Uncle Fester smile.
I tried to find the best ones. I mean, because Dave Bautista, when you see him bald, he's usually angry. And then Paul Giamatti's not usually... I did find a picture of him from Spider-Man 3 where he was actually bald, but he had tattoos all over his head. But I love him because Giamatti's known for a short fuse. Nobody gets frustrated and angry as quickly as he does, and he does such a great job at it. But he's been in Sideways, Saving Private Ryan, Saving Mr. Banks, recently in Gunpowder Milkshake where he was kind of a jerk. Paul Giamatti, a jerk? No.
Never.
I'm sure he's a really sweet guy. But we have Dave Bautista. We have Paul Giamatti. Paul Giamatti for the win. Jake gets his first point.
Wow.
I was starting to get nervous. Oh, man.
I went with Zach Galifianakis. And I found him from, I guess it was Hangover Part 2. So, he'd have to shave down. But, yes, I think he could do it. All right. Well, now we get to the culturally appropriated Wednesday Addams. And now we don't normally recast children, but we had to include Wednesday played by Christina Ricci. So, Jake, who do you have playing the, I guess I want to say serial killer in waiting, Wednesday Addams?
Yeah, Wednesday Addams is just, she's just over it, right? She's not impressed by anybody or anything, and she's just kind of over it being life and everything. So I picked another actress who can play that very well and did in Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home, and I went with Zendaya.
Someone's been watching Dune this weekend. So
I think everybody's been watching Dune this weekend, Craig. I don't think any of us are alone in that.
So we've got, she's been obviously in the Spider-Man movies and Dune, that Greatest Showman with a horrible frontman. She's very good in Malcolm and Marie and Euphoria, the TV show on HBO. So, Elisabeth, who do you have to go up against Zendaya?
I went with somebody from something we've all been watching as well. Because I wanted that. I mean, she's just so dry, and she's so. I mean, she's the original. Well, maybe not the original goth, because that would have been Winona Ryder and Beetlejuice. But she's kind of the heir apparent. And I went with somebody who's also very dry, and we'll have to use some Doctor Who rules and get her younger. But I went with Selena Gomez, who weirdly impressed me on Murders in the Building, and
yes,
I was like, dang, I could actually see her as a little Wednesday Addams.
Yeah, she's a Disney kid done good. She's been around for a long time, but she was in recently. She hasn't done a lot of movies, a lot of voices mostly. But The Dead Don't Die, which was that zombie movie with Adam Driver and Bill Murray, where they were just like local cops that run into zombies. I haven't seen it yet. She was in Neighbors 2 as the sorority leader in Sorority Rising. And the one that you're talking about, Only Murders in the Building, which with Steve Martin and Martin Short, has been great. She definitely has the goth kind of feel in that one. But when she's so much younger, she kind of just seemed like a Disney kid. But yeah, absolutely. So we've got Zendaya, Selena Gomez. The judges conferred and said, Selena Gomez. because she has the dad's first name, so I guess that's what they went with. I went with a very young Rose McGowan.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how I feel about her as well. But I got to put my personal feelings
That's
aside.
quite the reaction. Oh.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, I think I was like, I was trying to remember what she looked like before she rebuilt her face. So.
Yeah, this is the picture of it right there.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah. So now we get to this one is just a pure physical situation. This one is we don't even care what they look like, if they can act or not. This one is just pure physical as we have Lurch, the gargantuan butler. So Elisabeth, what monstrosity did you pick to be Lurch?
I couldn't think of anyone super tall other than Peter Mayhew.
Absolutely. Of course.
And I was like, you know what? Let's let him not have to wear a furry suit for once. Let's let him just wear a lot of gray makeup.
Yes. The best sidekick in the galaxy, Peter Mayhew,
Yeah.
otherwise known as Chewbacca. And hard to believe, but that's pretty much all he's done. He did Sinbad in the Pirates, but he was uncredited, so we don't put him there. But he's made a mint off of, he made his whole career off of being Chewbacca, which he played awesomely. Recently passed, but we got to meet him a couple times. A real sweetheart of a man. So that's a great pick, and he fits the height requirement. So now we're going to go to Jake. Jake, what big beast of a person did you pick to be Lurch?
I think Big Beast is a great way to describe him. This is where I felt he belonged in this movie, but because obviously he belongs in this movie, I think we both agree on that. Elisabeth, I went with Dave Bautista here in this role.
Yes, he's
Because somehow, what would the Addams Family movie be without Dave Bautista? Apparently, but
yeah,
there you go.
He's known for Elizabeth's Uncle Fester. Yeah, you know, here's the less. These are more of the comedies that he's been in because the action one was first. Now this is the comedies where he was in Stuber and My Spy. Riddick was a joke. I'm not a big Vin Diesel fan. So we have Peter Mayhew, Dave Bautista. And just to show consistency, no one voted for Dave Bautista again. No one picked him for Uncle Fester. No one picked him for Lurch.
I don't like this Dave Bautista erasure.
Yeah. He has been canceled here at the Castoff. I don't know what he did, but I went with Tom Noonan. So Tom Noonan is one of those guys. He always plays bad guys. He is an acting teacher in New York as well. He really thinks a lot of himself as an actor, but he's a big, tall, bald-looking dude, perfect for Lurch. And I think obscure is what you're going for here. Lurch is not the star, so you don't need a big name like Dave Bautista or Peter Mayhew. Well, now we get to the always strange, but yet always hilarious Carol Kane as Grandmama Addams. She replaced the original actress, so this is the Grandmama did show up in the first film, but they replaced her with Carol Kane because she had an expanded part, and they thought, why not? She's hilarious. So, Jake, who do you have playing Grandmama?
It's really hard to replace Carol Kane in anything because she is so talented and so funny. I went with someone that I think can play is a great character actress. She's a little bit smaller. She's funny. She's got a great sense of humor and timing. I went with Linda Hunt.
Linda Hunt. This is inspired. She's a pint-sized powerhouse. We've done Popeye. She was on matineeheroes.com. You can go there to listen to us talk about Popeye. She was in Kindergarten Cop, which we did at Matinee Heroes. Dune, which will be out in a few weeks. We did probably in 2 weeks with Devin Pike. And then, of course, she played Billy Kwan. She played a man in The Year of Living Dangerously. Not a transgender. She just played a man. They had a guy. He wasn't working out. They replaced him with Linda Hunt. That just shows you how great an actress she is because people bought it. That's great. Well, this one's going to be difficult. Who do you have for replacing or up against Linda Hunt, Elisabeth?
This was, I'm really sorry I didn't think about that. This was hard because, but I tried to think of like quirky little British, BBC masterpiece theater actresses, and it was Judy Parfit, who I think is adorable in a lot of things that she's in, and has a sort of funny voice, and I think can pull it off. But it's a real below the radar kind of thing.
Oh yes, she definitely is. She plays a nun in a current show that she's on. which is why she's none of your business. But she goes way back to David Copperfield, Hamlet. She was in Dolores Claiborne, and everybody makes mistakes. She was one of the British people that were drafted into King Ralph, including Peter O'Toole and several other prominent British actors who apparently didn't read the script. They just were shoveled American cash at them, and they took the job anyways. So it's 4-2. Jake, you've got to get back here. So we've got. I'm sorry, it's 4-2 because we got Linda Hunt. You got 2 points.
Okay.
Wait a minute. This is all wrong.
Yeah.
It's 4-2. So.
Yep. We're gonna ignore the scoreboard.
I went with Tracy Ullman. Yeah, the scoreboard's all screwed up from last game. It's not just the Windows 11. Craig 1.0 is screwing up as well. So Tracy Ullman from the Men in Tights. I thought we just put a real nose on her instead of this long one, and she could easily do it. Well, now we get to the final person, and we have close personal friend of mine, Joan Cusack, who I've had a chance to talk to at length at FanX with her brother. She is playing Debbie Jalinski, who is a mild-mannered lady who is dating Uncle Fester, but she's really a serial killer, as we see her blow up the house here. So, Elisabeth, who do you have playing sweet lady turned bad?
I wanted to give her another shot at being a villain because I thought she got done dirty by Wonder Woman 1984, and I went with Kristen Wiig, who can be scary and sweet at the same time.
Oh, yes. She can do all of that. She's got superhuman comic abilities like Joan. Joan can be sweet, or she can be obnoxious and crazy. So I think that's a perfect one. So that's puts Jake behind the 8 ball. Jake, yep. Who do you have playing Debbie?
Yeah, I'll be honest, the character just reminded me of another character in another movie. So I picked that actress, reminded me of Madeline Kahn's character in Clue. And so that's who I went with here.
Yeah. Well, she is known for legendary performances because listen to this: Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, The Muppet Movie, Clue, and she was in Paper Moon. So she can do serious stuff as well. Madeline Kahn. So we've got Kristen Wiig, Madeline Kahn. So here's what's got to happen, Jake. You not only have to get Madeline Kahn, I have to get Madeline Kahn. So let's see. There's the 3. See, it's all screwed up there. So you did get the Madeline Kahn. Now, Madeline Kahn has been in the news lately because History of the World Part 2 has been picked up by Hulu. And if you watched the Monday Morning Memory Wipe, you would have known that because I talked about it at length. So, knowing that Madeline Kahn is one of the greatest and funniest women in the history of cinema, knowing that the History of the World Part 2 is at the tip of my tongue, I was talking about it at length most of Sunday, did I also pick Madeline Kahn? We'll find out in just a second. Once again, I desperately need subscribers. Come on, folks. Like I said, sign up your mom, sign up your dad, 2 different accounts. They don't need to know. I just need to get 25 more people because we've gone up to 75 and we've been stuck at 75 for a little while now. I just haven't changed the graphic. But please, if you can head over to look up Matinee Heroes on YouTube or head over to matineeheroes.com/castoff and click on the YouTube link. Subscribe. We really need to. And the holidays are coming. And I know that Jake is really looking forward to buying himself an Always Be Casting Matinee Heroes Glengarry Glen Ross custom-made shirt, right?
Well, you know how much I love that film.
Yes, I know.
And I've heard of it before now.
And I actually made the graphic. I worked real hard at it. Joel Micah Harris, I couldn't afford to get him this time, so I had to do it myself. And so Always Be Casting. It's a fun little podcasting. Anybody who podcasts should wear it. So Christmas is coming. You have 2 other co-hosts. It comes in 7 different colors. Look at that. Beautiful. It comes in all the colors that you would find a chalkboard in. All the greens and the grays. And only for $20.
It's a steal, really.
It's
at
a
that
steal
price.
at twice the price, which a lot of the times when you go buy podcasting shirts from people, that's what it is. It's like $40 because it's on demand. But anyways, back to the issue at hand. We've got the great Madeline Kahn, who I absolutely adore. but I went with Julie Bowen from Modern Family, and that makes Elisabeth today's winner.
This is a nail biter.
Yeah. Elisabeth, you have today's final thought, so you can say anything you want. You know, keep it clean, but you can promote anything. You can say anything you like. You can talk about any specific thing. What is your thought for today?
I'm just gonna wish everybody a happy Halloween, and I'm gonna copy you and say buy Halloween candy without palm oil in it. Buy the orangutan friendly palm oil candy.
And I have a posting of that, so you can find out exactly where that is, because the Center of Great Apes in Florida is something that I have been promoting and contributing to for years, and they're a great place, and they gave me that little list. And so palm oil is the #1 killer of orangutans, because they strip the whole island of it's just Borneo and Indonesia, just strip it clean. So yeah, you know, think of the little apes and the orangutans, so the kids and the orangutans. I'm sorry, Jake, I didn't mean to call your kids apes. I'm sure they're wonderful.
You're not the first and probably won't be the last. It's fine.
Well, we still have a show next week, and I can't wait to bring it to you. It's already happened because it was live from Fan X, the second of our 2 episodes, and we have Robert Neal versus our great friend Brandon Uccio. And since Halloween, we have a brand new Doctor Who episode coming out. We're doing the Doctor, his companions, the Master, and more. We are doing a little bit of a skewed version of the Castoff, where we don't have specific people. You are really just kind of, who do you want for the Doctor? Who do you want for the Master? We did recast Jack Harkness, Captain Jack, and River, because those are the only 2 on that show that with a name that matter. Everybody else, vague. So, want to be on the show? It's so easy. All you have to do is head over to matineeheroes.com/castoff/application, fill it out, and if you don't seem like a creep, we'll bring you on. It's happened before, and people have won. So come on the show. You can also email me at mhcastoff@gmail.com. Don't forget, we're on Twitter on The Castoff Show. Join the Matinee Heroes Facebook group, matineeheroes.com/castoff, to find links to our YouTube channel and Twitch channel. But also you can head over to twitch.tv/matineeheroes and join us there. Special thanks to Devin Pike and Brendan Agnew. Devin will be on in about 2 weeks doing our Dune podcast. And Brendan Agnew, not only is he going to be on this week's Scream, but he joined the entire Matinee Heroes family, and we did our Thanksgiving episode. All 4 of us got together to talk about Paddington. So you can hear that in about 4 weeks as well. So on behalf of our winner, Elisabeth Rappe, and our good friend, the nicest man in podcasting, Jake Dietz, I'm your host, Craig Price. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week on The Castoff.